Hey, what's up? This is Dilio. How you doing? Welcome to the channel. If you don't know who I am Dilio. I'm an independent artist, coach, music producer, a lot of different things. But in this video, I'm going to take some time to talk about some things that may help you on your YouTube journey. So this video is for anybody wanting to start a YouTube channel who is actually actively making content. This video is not for those who basically are not even remotely interested in making any YouTube videos. You know, they may like to watch, but as far as being a content creator, it's not their thing, and it's okay. But I just want to make sure that everybody who sees this video is aware that this video is for those who are considering doing a YouTube channel or early on in their process. And I just want to share some mistakes that I've made on this platform, because I think that when you share the mistakes that you make on this platform, you help others move further along faster on their journeys on this platform right there. Because one thing I can say, I've been on here long enough to know what kind of mistakes I've made and all that stuff. So it's very important for me at this point, and the purpose of this video is just to educate those who are coming up on this platform in today's day and age, because I know how challenging it can appear and it can seem. And I am spreading positivity on this platform with sharing some of my lessons learned on this platform so that it can help you, and it'll help you avoid some downfalls, because I know there are somebody out there that is on the edge of making that first video, and hopefully this can kind of help you with that. So let's talk about some mistakes that I've made on this platform so that it can help you in your journey. That's the whole purpose of this video right there. And again, if you have no interest in doing this, this video is not for you. I would rather you not even watch this video, because there's a lot of people, and that's another thing, there's a lot of people that really have a lot to say about what you do that don't do it themselves, you know. And I think that for me, the biggest qualifier, or the biggest qualifier, credible thing I can see, is someone demonstrating what they talk about, what they suggest to you. Is just a thing. But let's move forward and let's talk about it, because I really want to take my time. I was working out this morning and I was thinking about it, and I said, you know what, this would be a good video to help someone on this journey, as I'm still on my YouTube journey. All right, so let's dive in. So the first thing is, the mistake is waiting for perfection to start. Now, I may have not have dealt with this so much myself. My issue is maybe waiting for perfection to continue. But you don't have to have one of these, or really anybody who has a phone can start making content. And, you know, when people ask me, what do I need to start a YouTube channel? I'm like, just get yourself somewhere, use your phone, and start with your phone now. Because you gotta, in order to really run an effective YouTube channel, you really got to start with the content and the content quality. See, the thing is, people want the content to be super banging the first time out, the first video they make. They want the audio production to be clear and concise and all that. They want it to be all together. And the problem is that when you work on that so much and you try to get the equipment and all this other stuff together, you never really get around to making that first video. You're analyzing, studying everybody else, trying to figure out how are they doing what they're doing. And I can understand that, because if you're trying to look for every advantage you can to make your channel the most effective as possible, to have the most growth as fast as possible, and the most views and connection, comment, whatever you want to call it. We all want that, but the problem is you're not going to get the hard data you need until you actually put videos on a platform, whether they're high quality or low quality. There's always someone who has less than what you have that is working harder. There's always someone that has less than what you have that's working harder, that's making more videos. There's always someone who's less talented than you are, less accomplished than you are, has less, and they got that phone on. They got that phone on, and they're just going to town, because they don't see that some people will get more success because they don't know better, and they don't come a formalized training of media and film and production and sound. They don't come from that. And when you come from that world, you want to make sure that everything is super together and on point, and that's just not going to be. So don't worry about perfection. Another mistake that I made is being in too many different niches, too many types of content, too many different. If you look back on my channel, and it goes a good ways back, I've done just so many different things. I've done cartoons on here. I've done comedy on here. I've done remakes. A lot of people know me from the remakes. I've done talk boxing. I've done music production tutorials and equipment reviews. And unfortunately, when you do that, you create too many fragmented audiences on the same channel. And what happens when you do that, it makes it hard for you to hit the target. If you got 10 different targets, well, okay, well then I'll just shoot each target. But the problem is that the more opportunities you have to shoot for multiple targets, the more opportunities you have to miss. Just imagine someone on a shooting range, and they got one person with a gun has 10 targets to shoot that they got to keep shooting to move forward on their mission, and you got one person with one target to shoot on their mission. Who you think is going to be more effective and be more efficient? And so because of that mistake, and I didn't know it, but because I had so much to bring, I just want to just do everything on there. But the problem is that, yeah, you'll find people that came for one reason, and then we switch to another type of content. They're not interested in that content. And then we switch to this new type of content. They're not interested in that content. So while someone may be interested in talk box tutorials or something like that, somebody else may be interested in remakes. And then if someone's interested in remakes, well, maybe they're not interested in my original music, because I've done my original music on here. It is a constantly moving target. So if I could take a breath and slow down and say that if you're thinking about doing a YouTube channel, think about one topic or one thing. And I think you can branch out a little bit, but you got to figure out what's that one thing you can do consistently and repeatedly that's sustainable, that you can do a bunch of videos. It takes a lot of videos for this platform to give you some form of authority in it and search, because we know that YouTube is a search engine and you need a lot of content on there. I started a new channel, but I still got to put a bunch of content on there quickly, efficiently. And it's no longer an issue of how to make videos. I can make videos and crank them out like it's nothing, but I have to be more focused in that. So being consistent in something like, dude, there's other YouTubers like all they do is tutorials on one beat program or one other thing, or maybe there might be somebody talking about finances. That's all they're talking about is finances. When you see people doing channels about financial literacy, they're not doing financial literacy in dating. You see people talking about dating. You know, you got women on channels talking about how men are, and then you got men on channels talking about how women are. They don't really even deviate from that a lot. They stay right where they're at. They don't deviate. So if you're a content creator in the music production spectrum or something like that, figure out what type of content you want to do early that you can rinse and repeat for many videos. Don't count on the viral thing. You have to build from scratch. I'm in the channel. I'm in the position to build from scratch myself. Don't let these numbers fool you. And that goes to my other, and I'll get to about numbers later. But just make sure your content is sustainable. Make sure it's something you can do consistently. Another mistake that I made was I was inconsistent. Well, why was Delio inconsistent? Delio was inconsistent because Delio was working a 9 to 5, or felt some type of way about how the channel is doing, or how his channel is being treated versus how other YouTubers' channels treated. You know, you get distracted by all these things, and sometimes it's like, okay, you just got to step back, right? But how many times can we step back from our jobs? 9 to 5s. We can't step back. We still gotta go. We still gotta be there like clockwork. And if we can show up for someone else, we damn sure gotta be able to show up for ourselves, right? So being consistent is a key thing. And if you're inconsistent, and I'll say that's a mistake I made. I was inconsistent, not making videos all the time, trying to figure it out. Sometimes when you're trying to figure it out a lot, you're trying to figure out this angle and that angle. You're just constantly trying to figure it out, and then you're second guessing and all that stuff. And just from my mistake, stacking on top of mistake, okay, I'm trying to figure out, okay, well, what kind of video I want to make, knowing that there's so many people who came to my channel for so many different reasons. It's hard to even know what type of video to make. and then see what I'm saying? But if you have one topic, you're less likely to feel like, in my opinion, feel like you're making the wrong type of video. So make sure your content is sustainable. So that's another mistake, is that there's certain types of content that I would make that is not sustainable. For example, the remakes, right? I do remakes pretty good. I do them pretty well, right? But the only problem with certain remakes is that if I use samples of copyrighted material, and we know that YouTube is very serious about their copyright stuff and samples, stuff like that. If I use a sample or make it, use something exactly that's out for demonstration purposes, then, we run into the issues of demonetization and things of that nature, or, a strike on the channel, copyright strike, all kinds of mess that can come up from that. While it is good, like, I don't know if I would really do remakes anymore on this channel. I'll probably do a Patreon so that I can kind of avoid some of that copyright issues on education. Like, it's education, but the algorithm, the platform doesn't care if you're just trying to teach. So, make sure your content is sustainable. So if you're a music producer, you're making beats, you got a platform that's sustainable. Plugins, sustainable. Finance, dating tips, something that you can do over and over again. It's got to be something you can lock in on, you have fun doing. And you actually do have to treat it like a job. And what I mean by treating it like a job, you got to show up 5 days. You got to show up for this stuff to get the content made and to figure out what's the most efficient way for you to make this content. You got to show up. So, making sure your content is sustainable is a mistake that I've had in the past, because remakes are cool, but it takes a lot of work to get the sounds together, to listen to the song, to play it over. And I'll probably will still do it, because like I said, I'm still figuring things out on this channel, and I'm starting a new channel that is purely less Dilio's world and more of Dilio's topic and more focused, right? Watching other YouTubers is a big mistake. It's very easy to get discouraged when you see other YouTubers in your space that are doing so much better than you on the views and stuff like that. You have two sides of it, right? Let's be realistic. Two sides, like, you're happy for them, or you should be happy for them that they're doing well for themselves. You definitely want to be happy for them, but then sometimes when you're not in the right headspace, you see their success and it makes you question your own. It's almost like having two farmers on two fields, and there's one farmer that's just been plowing, and they figured out what they need to do to make that farm grow the fruit and the vegetables they need to grow. And here you're on your land, you're still trying to figure it out, and you got all the tools, but and sometimes things don't always go to plan, and plants and things don't develop the way that they should all the time. And so you're looking at your land, you're like, dang, man, what's wrong with my land? Maybe I shouldn't be a farmer. Maybe there's something. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? There's and that goes into comparison. Comparison is the thief of joy. So when you go into that comparison mode, it can knock you off, and that's a big mistake. My antidote or procedure to deal with that is to only focus on you and your channel and outdo yourself month by month. How do you outdo yourself by month? You got to get more content on it than you did last time. You got to be more consistent, and you can't be more consistent than the max you can be within a certain month of time. But being consistent, outdoing yourself, seeing where you are last month, I'm telling you, it's always like the easiest target to beat is your own self. And it's not about what other people are doing. If you can take your focus off of other people and figure out how you want to move forward for yourself, that's a great way to move forward, right? So, that can be another mistake, is watching other YouTubers. And so there's a lot of very interesting mistakes that I definitely have made, but those are the ones that I know of that have hindered my growth, in my opinion, caused a lot of mental stuff. Like I said, because growing a YouTube channel is not something that just instantly happens. If you are blessed to go viral or something like that, you got a song out or something like that and it goes viral, by all means, enjoy that blessing. But as for the rest of us, we got to grind, figure this stuff out, come back to it, push through the negative emotions that come from it, push through the negative changing algorithms. And that's why it goes to another thing. Like, I should have built like an official email list sooner, because of the changing world that is all these platforms. All these platforms have people running behind the scenes, that are constantly watching what's going on with it and tweaking this and tweaking that. And sometimes that can work to your benefit, but then other times that can work to your detriment, but you don't know. Or let's say somebody flags you just because they don't like you. And we all know that these platforms really protect the user last, unless like you're like really famous. In my opinion, a lot of these platforms really protect the content creator last in the case of fraudulent flagging, right? It's a thing. Fraudulent flagging. And so there's lack of protection, but and on top of that, as much as people subscribe to my channel, I don't own their information. I don't have a way to reach out to them or connect with them. I don't have anything like that. What do I have? I have an email list. I think it's in the description below. That's all I got that I can take with me, that's isolated from the YouTube world. A lot of people doing amazing things, making amazing livings on here. I think it should be a stream of income. I don't think should be a stream of living. But as I'm saying, I mean, even regular 9-to-5s are volatile. So all sources of income could be considered volatile. But always have that way to reach your audience outside of YouTube. So continually encourage that for people to sign up. I think it's a great thing, and give them an incentive to sign up. Why would they sign up? Well, I'll give you this for free, or give you that for free, or check this out, check that out. You know, there's always something that you can do to incentivize that. And so those are some of the mistakes I've made. And I just want you to be encouraged, if you're considering making a YouTube channel, or you're considering coming back to making content, I definitely say go for it. I don't have the mastery or examples. One thing I do have is the experience of not quitting. It's always been on my mind. I feel like someone with my skills and talent and who I am should have a thriving YouTube channel. But I have made mistakes along the way too. I'm just because I'm very talented or skilled or have something special about me doesn't void me challenges, doesn't void me of mistakes. And sometimes having all this talent and skills can work to your detriment sometimes. And in my opinion, I think it has. I think it's because I've done so much different stuff that the platform doesn't know what to do with me. Viewers don't know what to do. and I'm staying positive about it. I'm not trying to blame the world. As I said before, I'm not trying to blame anyone. However, I am choosing to adapt to the circumstances and figure out, how do I come on top with these circumstances and see this thing through. That's why I'm still making content on this channel, right? So yeah, hope this helps you out. Like this video, just hit a like, comment on this video, subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. Definitely gonna be a lot more content coming out in the near future. Well, probably tomorrow. But I just wanted to share this to help someone out. That's my whole intent. If it helped you out, great. If it didn't, I understand. It's no problem. But that was my whole intent, is to help somebody else out there who's serious about making content. If you're not serious about making anything, you just want to sit and watch YouTube, more power to you. But this video was not for you. And I just want you to know that clearly, that this video was not for you. Only those who seriously are considering making videos and making content. All right. Thanks.